If you're my age, Diary of the Wimpy Kid was the book series that you grew up on. Everyone was talking about it, and it was the most popular book. With that said, there are 8 movies in this entire run. Half are animated, half are live action. Let's combine the two and rank them together.
It's nasty.
Essentially, what this movie is the original live action film, but animated. When you read the book and watch the movie, the book has differences and the movie has differences. Certain plot points that are not in the book, and the book has plot points that are not in the movie. What does the animated one do? It copies the movie, not the book. Storylines that happen in the live-action movie are what they decided to adapt for the animated version. They did not decide to go the book route and do something new that we haven't seen before. Because this is an animated version of the movie, everything in this movie we have seen better in that version, in that adaptation. Because all the animated one comes down to is the original movie that is good, but just rushed and chopped together because it's that original movie, but basically cut split of its runtime in like an hour frame. And you just don't care for anything as much as you do for that original movie because it's just all cut down, it's all just drawn back from what it originally was. And since the entire time you are comparing to that original film, this movie just doesn't come across as enjoyable because everything that happens in this movie is beat for beat of what exactly happened in that original film. And when we even do get to the animation, when we do get to the writing, it's weak, it's choppy. It's quite clear that this was made on a low budget just to put something on Disney Plus. This is the worst of the worst. It's boring, it's bland, and I feel like no work was actually put into it in trying to make it good. It's really just generic. I do think there is a theme in here that is worth telling, but yet again, we've seen that theme in the movie, in the book.
One day I'm gonna be rich and famous, but for now, I'm stuck in middle school, surrounded by morons.
Now, it's not as bad as Rodrick rules, but it is still the exact same problem. We've seen this movie before. In fact, this one, this time around, is basically beat for beat exactly what happens in the original live-action film, but shorter. Rodrick rules did cheat its way through a bit and change a few things around. This one, no. It's almost beat for beat exactly what happens in that original movie, but animated and a lot more weaker. Essentially, all my problems with Rodrick Rules are still all in this movie. It's really just made to have content on Disney Plus. It's really just made to just exist out there. The animation is choppy, and it's quite clearly no work was really put into this. The film is just shorter and a lot dumber with everything it's trying to tell. The characters are a lot dumber, the jokes are a lot dumber. They had no idea what to do with this film, so we got this instead. For only being an hour too, it is unbearably slow just because it's really just dumbed down to its lowest demographic it can be. It's really just here to introduce new fans into this franchise to earn more money from the books, but other than that, this really has no purpose of existing.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul.
Now, this is the film for the longest absolute time I did not understand the hate for, mostly because I grew up on this movie. This is a Diary of the Wimpy Kid movie that I rewatched multiple and countless times because it was just a fun movie to watch overall at the time. Rewatching it now, I understand all the hate for it completely. Writing's bad, acting's bad, jokes are bad, bunch of potty humor, bunch of fart jokes, all of that. It's not really funny humor, it's just more absurd humor that doesn't really fit what those original movies were really, truly were. It's just trying to milk this IP even further, but absolutely failing on it. But with all those problems stated, I do enjoy this movie still, because like I mentioned, I grew up on it, so I have more nostalgia for it. I'm sure a lot of people have movies like that, and this is kind of that movie for me where everyone absolutely hates it, but since I had that bit of nostalgia, it works for me. Although I understand the writing is awful, the acting is awful, the jokes are awful, I still get a kick out of it here and there because I did grow up on it. I remember watching this movie for the first time in theaters. I remember rewatching it countless and countless times Although it's a bad movie, it's a terribly made movie, characters are absolutely dumb, I still find a kick out of it. I understand all the problems completely now, but I still can't help but find enjoyment out of it.
Oh, come on!
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw, streaming December 5th.
Now this is where we get our newest installment, The Last Straw. We finally have an adaptation of The Last Straw, and although it is technically Dog Days, we never got an individual adaptation of The Last Straw, so I'll take this. And overall, I feel like ever since the animated movie that I have not mentioned yet actually found its footing a lot more, this one actually knew what it wanted to be. We are not being Diary of the Wimpy Kid or Rodrick Rules, the previous animated ones, because we actually found our footing a lot more. We knew how to tell these stories while actually making the story more compelling, the theme more compelling, because this time around, I actually cared for the theme, I cared for the characters, and I cared for what I was actually watching. I feel like this one did a better job at adapting the book, not the movie. It did take inspiration from both here and there, but overall, I think it's made its own thing out of it. But my main complaint is that we still get that stupid humor that is made for kids that just doesn't sit well with me, because it's trying to aim for that lowest demographic to introduce that lowest demographic into the series, and that just doesn't work for me. And I feel like since Cabin Fever did such a great job with this Christmas theme, I'll dive into that later, this movie just tried to copy it, but since the main story takes place almost in the summer, Greg is seen going camping, I feel like that winter vibe just doesn't work, and one of the main reasons why Cabin Fever works so well is because of the Christmas theme. That Christmas theme is not in here, and this movie was just trying to copy what that movie did so well. But overall, this movie is better than most of the animated movies, but still not to its best potential, and it still really just exists. Is it a enjoyable watch? Yes. Is it a great watch? Not necessarily, but it's not a bad one with that. But real quick, if you want to help me reach my goal of 1K by the end of the year, consider subscribing. Let's continue.
Bro, come on!
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
And speaking of Cabin Fever, we finally get to this movie where I think this is the biggest standout out of all the animated Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. Mostly because of that Christmas theme. Cabin Fever is one of the best Diary of the Wimpy Kid books from my memory. It's been a while since I read this entire series, but this movie works so well for me because of that Christmas flair. It has a Christmas theme in here that works and connects to everybody and really ties the knot of what Christmas truly is, and goes full circle for Greg Heffley's character arc. And since it is the plot of Cabin Fever, Diary of the Wimpy Kid's best book, that's always just fun to watch on screen too, but what really solidifies this movie for me is that Christmas theme at the end of the movie. And a big problem that all these animated movies have had up to this point in time before Cabin Fever came out is that they were adapting the movie version, and they were no effort into them whatsoever. This one still has that kid humor here and there, but since we're not adapting a movie, we have a book that has never been adapted before. It can do its own thing, and that's exactly what the movie does. Does it differ from the book a lot? Yes, but it still has that Christmas flair, and it still has the flair of what makes that book good in the first place. And it just seems like a lot more care was put into this movie, which makes sense because it's the only good animated one of these Wimpy Kid movies, besides The Last Straw. But even then, The Last Straw, I don't really see myself rewatching a whole lot. I can see myself here and there putting on Cabin Fever to enjoy for a Christmas special, because that's exactly what it is, and it nails that mark. Most of that is because of that Christmas flair that it does have. That Christmas theme in movies is what I love the most about Christmas films. So the fact that this film has it is what I think really makes this film stand out a lot.
One time, I used your toothbrush to get dog poop off my shoe.
What?
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Day.
Now we actually get to the Diary of Wimpy Kid movies. These Diary of the Wimpy Kid movies are a great adaptation of the original series, and they're really the true adaptation. Forget all the other movies I mentioned. These three are the main ones and the ones I grew up on besides the books. But Dog Days is the weakest live action one for me just because the story is a bit all over the place here and there. It does have the theme of the last straw. It does have the theme of the dad this time around. We had the mom, we had the brother, we had the friend. Now we get the dad, so we get the entire family circled around. But overall, this movie still does capture the humor that the live-action movies brought and what the books brought. Its own slapstick humor, its own fun humor that's so over the top that it's actually funny. That's why these movies work so well to begin with, and this movie still has it in here. But I did mention how this plot feels a lot more all over the place compared to the other live-action movies, is because we're dealing with Greg's dad conflicts while dealing with Holly Hills, while going to the fair with Rowley, while dealing with Rodrick's band at the birthday party. It is all over the place. What the other two live-action Diary of the Wimpy Kids movies had were, it can get all wonky like that, but the theme always stayed consistent. This time around, it's all over the place, but since it is Diary of the Wimpy Kid and I did grow up on it, there is still a lot of fun to be had out of this movie. And it's not at all bad, it still has everything you love about Diary of the Wimpy Kid, but critically, it's all over the place.
One day I'll be rich and famous, but for now, I'm stuck in middle school with a bunch of morons.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Now we get to the original film. The film that I completely grew up on, rewatched all over the place. Like I have mentioned countless times, but this is definitely the one I have seen the most. I can quote it right now because I just seen it so many times. And when I first watched this to rewatch it for this ranking, I just forgot how unlikable Greg Heffley was as a character at the start. That's what only makes this character arc even more satisfying by the end because he learned his lesson. But throughout the entire movie, it's kind of hard to like this character because he is so unlikable throughout the entire runtime. Because rewatching it now after all those years later, I can easily point that out, that Greg is a very unlikable character, so that character arc by the end of the film is very satisfying, but my only problem with this movie is that he is very unlikable throughout the entire runtime, that sometimes the movie can be very unbearable because this character is acting so incredibly stupid and has no sense of reality in his mind. But the films does have the same charm that these movies are known for and what the books are known for, and just very much captures that vibe of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's the film that started it all, it still holds up and was only the start for Greg Heffley's character arc. It still absolutely holds up, and if you grew up on this film, you absolutely agree.
Rodrick.
Aren't you forgetting something?
What? I showered yesterday. Smell.
Okay.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
But easily number one for me is Rodrick rules. Mostly because I love that brother theme in there. I love just the actor of Rodrick. He is what makes this entire movie the movie that it is, because he is a great at acting this character and fits so incredibly well. On that note, this entire cast is just so iconic and fits their characters so incredibly well. But the film has all of that with a better theme, with a better story, and still captures the fun that the first film had and what the books had. This film delivers on everything while still having that humor, while still having a great theme in here, but this time with Rodrick, and that Rodrick factor is what bumps this movie up slightly for me. But all in all three of these movies are as great as ever because I grew up on them, so I love them all just the same. But Rodrick, I just love slightly more because it's Rodrick. Anyways, if you like this video, maybe these are the signs to you too. Like, subscribe, see you guys next time. Goodbye.